I need to make a video. What do I make a video on? What to make a video on? What's that? Pokemon Master Trainer for the game boards. It's good. If you guys are unaware, Pokemon Master Trainer is a board game that was created in 1999. It was at the peak of Pokemania, as we would say over here in the West, in 1998, 1999, when everyone was crazy about Pokemon, and they thought it was amazing, and they made a board game, and they made 3 of them. But the other 2, one of them sucks, and the other is crazy expensive. I bought this one off of eBay for about $50, $45-$50-ish, but I see listings go as high as about like $90, and the $45 version, which is what I got, was like a one-of-a-kind thing. You don't really see it that low. If you want to look for it on eBay, better than anything else, I would say, just because it's probably gonna be a lot more expensive on anything else. Okay, let's open it up. As you guys can tell, Pokemon Master Trainer, even though it was made in 1999, it still looks like a professional looking board game. The board is made of a cardboard material, and it has a lot of slots, little slit areas where you can put Pokemon into, and the Pokemon are these little chip thingies. There are 5 different kinds of chips. There are the weak pink chips, the mediocre green chips, the second stage evolution of a 2-stage evolution blue chips, the all-powerful red chips, and the legendary yellow chips. These other chips with the kind of octagonal edges, these are the starter Pokemon. You get Squirtle, Clefairy, Charmander, Meowth, Bulbasaur, and Pikachu. Now clearly, that's not all too fair, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's look at your playable characters. You can play as Mustard Ash, Blue Balls Ash, Toy Soldier Ash, Ashy Ash, Pink Ash, and Red. There are also these things called rival cards. The rival cards are basically your opponents throughout the entirety of the playthrough. They consist of the Elite Four and Gary. May I also say that this is based on the anime instead of the games, but you probably already figured that out. You have Lorelei, who is the weakest one, Bruno, Agatha, Lance, and Gary, in terms of weakest to strongest. Now, these guys are just totally unfair. We'll get into that in a little bit, but just their power levels are so crazy. You're going to need insane rolls just to be able to beat them. There are also these things called event cards. The event cards make an event happen. You can draw some item cards. You can have a mandatory fight. You can revive any of your knocked out Pokemon. You can encounter a legendary Pokemon. Or you can do the most dastardly thing of them all, and you can do a trade. A mandatory trade. This trade is just so crazy good because no matter what, you can trade a Magikarp for a Mewtwo, and it doesn't matter. If your opponents are relentless enough, they will take any chance they get to body you with these mandatory trades. It makes the game really unfair. And this game just totally is unfair. Jaywitz has covered this in his video, which I highly suggest you watch, by the way. But it's just totally unfair. This game is the most unfair thing. Look at the item cards, for example. Some of the item cards are fair. You get attack bonuses, you get Master Balls, Pokeballs, Flies, Great Balls, Ultra Balls, and that's mostly standard stuff. But then you get the Time Machine. The Time Machine! Time Machine can force anyone to reroll anything. Now, Jaywitz did the exact same bit in his video, so I'm not going to cover it too much in depth here, but just, if someone rolls the winning victory roll to win the game, nope, Time Machine just ruins that. If someone does the roll that lands them on the one spot they need to get the legendary Pokemon, nope. If someone decides that they want to go for this great Pokemon and they catch it, nope. just instantly, no matter what. It can be just annihilated. It's insane. And the unfairness is unfair and shown off from the very beginning. I mentioned the starters earlier. Let's look at the starters real quick. You have Squirtle, Clefairy, Charmander, Pikachu, Bulbasaur, and Meowth. Charmander and Squirtle are instantly the best starters. Their power level, which is off to the side, is 5. May I say, the power level that is yellow and off to the right is the most important one. You need at least 20 of these power points to get into the Elite Four. And with Charmander or Squirtle, you're already a quarter of the way there. With 3, Pikachu, Clefairy, and Meowth, you're at a huge disadvantage. You only have 3. And with Bulbasaur, for whatever reason, he has 4 instead of 5. You know, it's odd. On the manual, it says ages 7 and up. I think I am probably in the up. Well, let's talk for a minute about the Elite Four. Like I said before, we have Lorelei, Bruno, Agatha, Lance, and Gary. And these guys are probably the most insane in the game. Let's just take a look at what Jaywitz had to say and kind of put our own spin on it. Like he said, let's take Agatha. Agatha is middle of the pack. She has an attack power of 12 with a die roll of 6, 7, or 8. That means instantly, no matter what, she's getting at least an 18 power score. Let's take into consideration the fact that the strongest Pokemon in the game, Mewtwo, only gets 9. Just by that. So she is double what we have, which means no matter what, even if you get a perfect 6, you need an attack power of at least plus 3 on whatever it is that she gets. And that's not even including her die roll. If she gets a 1 on her die roll, let's say she gets a 1 on the die for her plus attack bonus and a 1 on her die roll. That means plus 6 and plus 1, plus 7. That's 19. Mewtwo starts off with 9. If we get a plus 6, which puts us at 15, we need a 5 or a 6 to win. Let me repeat that. A 5 or a 6 to win. And that's all we can have. If we get a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, we lose. And that is the middle of the pack. That's probably the most upsetting part of this game, actually. I'm gonna be honest. That's probably the part that makes me the most sad, just because it's so unfair. It's so unruly. It's so evil. And it just, if you get a perfect 6, you know what comes at you? A time machine. It's just, that's just what makes this game so unfair. But also, I think the unfairness kind of is what makes it fun. I played this game with my sisters every now and again, and just playing the game, playing the unfairness, playing just how broken it actually is, was what made it fun. This wasn't my childhood game. I never played it when I was a kid, but I'm playing it now, and I'm realizing that no matter what, it's a good game. I'm realizing that I like it. Even though it's unfair, even though the trainers are unfair, even though your opponents can be unfair, it's still just a hell of a lot of fun. And I highly suggest that if you haven't already, check this game out for yourself. You can buy it on eBay for less than $100. So if you got a little bit of spare money, I highly suggest looking through it. And it's a really good time. So, Pokemon Master Trainer is actually a pretty fun game. Like I said, I played it with my sisters, and we all got a chance to win at least. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Reading the manual is really funny because there are a lot of rules, and the weird thing about it is I didn't mention it, so I'm gonna mention it here. There's just a lot of weird stuff going on in it. You know, it's like I feel like the game would be too hard for little kids to understand, but it's a little bit too complicated for little kids, but it's not fun for adults, in the sense of, like, little kids don't get mad at being denied by both your opponents and the game, and adults mind that a lot. So I think that's mainly its big problem. But if you can find the perfect people, then it's gonna be good. Hey, I know this is a little bit unorthodox, like in the middle of the video, but during filming, I was filming this one bit, and I just totally lost Squirtle. I don't know where the chip went. He fell onto the floor, and I can't find it. And I have no idea where it is. I'm literally looking now, and yeah, so I don't know what's gonna go on. So just wait for the thing. I don't know. I'll let you guys know if I find it. But back to the video.
A few moments later.
I found it. Yay! Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way, if you haven't already. Sneeze. I mean, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe, gang. So yeah, we're just kind of talking for a little bit during this outro that I'm just doing right here. We're almost at 500, so hopefully we can get to that magic number that I've wanted to get at for so long. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I'll see you guys next time with more stuff. So stay funky. All right. Have a nice day. Bye.